The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 79. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our blog at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today I have a phenomenal woman on today. She is all the way from Perth, Australia. So you can just imagine the time difference. I'm here in Hawaii. She's in Perth. And I think it's like over 20-hour difference. But, you know, when you have the power of the internet, it's amazing that we can just connect, two people from different parts of the world. So she is a health and wellness practitioner. And she's a phenomenal woman. Like I said, she's, one of the nicest women I've ever met. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Gabrielle Morrison. Gabrielle, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hey, Sheila. Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for having me. It's really cool to do this. Yeah, I know the time difference is crazy. When you said you'd go into Hawaii, I was like, man, how are we going to get that time? It's like 18 or 20 hours difference. I'm literally 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, like way ahead of you. It's just crazy. But yeah, I'm in Perth, and I actually moved here 7 years ago. So I came backpacking many years ago and wanted to live that beautiful life down by the beach, and England really wasn't going to do that for me. So yeah, I moved over here, and it's beautiful. Really loving it.
That's awesome. I didn't even know you were originally from England, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Do they even have beaches in England?
Yeah, there's a few, but there's also like pebble beaches, which are really quite random, quite amusing.
Nice. So, Gabrielle, what's your cultural background?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm born in England. My mum and dad were both born in England, actually, but my dad's family moved over from a really small little island called Grenada, and that's close to Trinidad and Tobago. But I actually grew up with my mum, so I've never even been there, and definitely on my bucket list. But yeah, I actually ended up moving to Australia instead of going there. But I have a feeling like if I do go there, I may not actually come back.
I can see that. I mean, I'm sure they have wonderful beaches there as well. Being in the Caribbean and whatnot.
Exactly. And I speak to my aunties and I'm like, oh, tell me all about it. And they're just like, yeah, we have this big property. You can just grow your own food. And I'm like, that's just so where I need to be. So yeah, I'll be there one day.
That's awesome. I can see you being there with the big garden, especially being the health and wellness person that you are. I'm sure that's like a dream come true pretty much.
Well, that's absolutely right. So I know there's a calling for it. It's
Nice.
Definitely in my roots.
Awesome. So, Gabrielle, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Yeah, so I actually chose something, I actually love just the words of it. So, follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. And that just makes me realize like what I'm supposed to be doing. As long as I'm feeling good, I'm going to have that confidence because I know that I'm in the right space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I mean, when you love what you do, you're going to put all this positive energy in you, and it builds the confidence for you to keep on going, right? And a lot of people, they're successful because they love what they do, right? They wake up in the morning feeling pumped, feeling energized, feeling excited because they love what they're doing. So, I mean, I love that quote that you said, follow your bliss, right? Because a lot of people do things that they don't love, right? I mean, coming from like an Asian background, we're just told, find a job that makes a lot of money, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes, it's not about the money. I mean, if you being an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor, if that's not something you love doing, you're going to hate it and you're going to end up being miserable, right? And then you become stuck. So I really love that quote and the explanation that you had. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Yeah, so just even on the back of that quote again, it just reminds me to trust my intuition. So being confident means like being connected to my heart and my true purpose. And like I've kind of swayed in and out of it through my life, but at the moment I feel like I'm so doing that. I'm so on that path. and that just brings confidence naturally. Yeah, like, but so believing and trusting in my inner guidance, and that's what I think. So that's how it feels for me, like following that bliss, trusting my intuition, going with my heart. It just brings confidence naturally.
Awesome. And I love that definition that you shared, because so many people don't trust their intuition because they're so afraid of the unknown, and they're so, they're so comfortable with what they know or what society tells them is that you just stay at your 9-to-5 job, or you just follow what everyone does, right? It stunts them from following their own intuition. So I'm glad you were able to, just follow yours and just keep going and become successful with it. So, what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
Oh, it's funny. I've been so shy, like an introverted growing up. Like I really didn't speak out, and, even, quite depressed at times through my life. I think I was stuck in like the society's way of how life should be. Like, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and you're like, man, there's something more to this, like I was still kind of always searching, and I just, like, even at school, I really felt I just didn't fit in, and I just wanted so much to fit in and be friends with people, like, and just be liked, and so I just always kind of felt like I was trying so hard to kind of fit in and be with people that really, it wasn't really getting me anywhere, and I just never had that confidence in myself, and like I was saying, got quite depressed sometimes, which wasn't nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all go through that. We always want to please everybody, kind of be like following the crowd. And sometimes we lose ourselves in the process because we're trying to be somebody that we're not. So what was that, aha moment of yours when you realized you didn't have to do that? You didn't have to, like, please other people. You can be your own person and be able to do the things that you want to do, like follow your bliss and, be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. So even kind of going through all those struggles growing up, like, there was still something inside of me, because I just felt that there was something I had, even without the confidence, I had something in me that made me push through, because I could be still living in England now, like, not have followed my dreams. So something, I can't even describe what it is, but I think it was always there, but very subtle. But really the biggest aha moment for me was when I had my daughter. And my world literally changed. Like, it was like, it wasn't just about me. I think, we grow up, we kind of go through life, and you're kind of in your head, and it's all about you. For me, anyway, it was all about me. But I had my daughter, and I was like, wow, this world's amazing. Like, this is a miracle, And now I wanted to show her how amazing life could be.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And once you realize, your aha moment, having your daughter, what's your life like now?
It's very different, because I started to follow my heart and just connected with my passions. So when she was born is actually when I started getting really into health. And it's funny, because I do look back on my life when I was actually learning these things before. I always kind of was interested in food and was learning these things. And like, when you look back, you realize this is your passion, because it's been your lifelong journey. But really, when she was born, I decided to think, I don't want to be feeding her, the wrong food. So we changed to organic, and we just kind of changed everything really, and looked at all different aspects of our lives and realized all the different toxins that are around us. So really, that was my road to then helping others do the same. So once I changed it in my life, I realized that I could then help others do the same. And yeah, that's how it's kind of grown from there, and created a business around that, which is awesome.
Awesome. And I love how you turned your passion, your love for health, into a business, helping others do the same, teaching them what's good and not good, right? And it's because you love it so much and you're so passionate about it that it's so successful. And, I'm just really happy for you. And Gabrielle, for the woman who's listening to this episode, maybe she's also, on her journey to self-confidence, she might be, wanting to do or follow the same route as you're going. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Yeah, well, I would definitely say, like, take time to connect with yourself. Every day, if you can do some meditation, even if it's 5 minutes, just start listening to that inner voice, because that inner voice is there. It might be quiet at times, but it's just really trusting yourself. Go with what feels good. The path of least resistance is, I've listened to lots of different sort of gurus, and that's something that I hear quite a lot. I actually always like Wayne Dyer, and something he said, like, are you going to live 90 years or are you going to live 1 year 90 times? So it's really like taking a look at what your life is like and thinking, okay, am I doing Groundhog Day? Or am I going to just start saying yes and making some changes in my life and just trusting yourself?
I love that. And, that's the first time I've heard that analogy that you said, are you going to live, your life for 90 years or live the same year, 1 year 90 times, I think you mentioned? Yeah. I mean, yeah, because some people go through life going through the same thing over and over again, thinking that there's going to be a different result when it's going to be the same, right? So, I mean, now's the time to do that. Like, now is the time to change. And I love how you said, go to the route with the least resistance, because we've always been taught that life always has to be so hard, right? When really it doesn't have to be. It has to I'm not saying it's easy, but it has to have that flow that makes it, not, with the least resistance. And I love that you mentioned that, because like, I'm sure with your journey, loving health and stuff, it had this ease, right? Like, it flowed really well because you loved it so much.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Absolutely. I think we forget that we're here. Well, my personal view is that we're here for a purpose. And when we connect with that, it just feels right, and you just know. And that's what makes it really special. Like, even recently, I actually started making cakes, raw cakes, and that, because I was having conversation. I've been on a few courses recently, and they were like, you've got to do what comes easy to you, something that you love. And I'm like, man, I love making these raw cakes. So like recently I've just put them online. I'm like having all these orders. So I'm like, man, I can make cakes all day. This feels awesome, So it really is the easy things that you can do in your life that make you feel good.
That's awesome. And, that's how I feel with podcasting. I just love it. Just sharing these amazing stories, helping women out there realize, what's possible. I mean, it just feels so easy, right? I'm not saying it's easy. It just feels good. It just has that easy flow, right? So, I love that you mentioned that. So thank you. And Gabrielle, if our listeners want to connect with you and maybe even want to try some of your delicious cakes, is there any websites or social media profiles that we can connect with?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sheena. So my website is Glowing with Health. And I've also got a Facebook community, which is a private group for people just to come and share and, be accountable for each other and help them on their journey. And that's GWH Community. And if you actually are on my website, I've got a few different free download ebooks. One of them is recipes. There's a wellness guide and some superfood stuff. So, yeah, jump on there and grab the free products.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to check that out. And to the listeners out there, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Gabrielle's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just really want to thank Gabrielle for taking the time to share her journey with us, share her story. So thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Oh, thank you for having me, Sheena. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
No problem. I mean, I'm just so happy you were able to take the time to do this. So, you're always more than welcome for an encore. And and to the listeners out there, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Start your inner journey to self-confidence today.